From the city of broad shoulders, this is Chicago Unscripted with CBS News Chicago's Joe Donlan.
Chances are you have either seen or heard Professor Robert Pape in the last few days. To say his expertise is in demand is an understatement. On his Substack, he writes, "I teach at the University of Chicago and study how force is used to achieve political objectives." That Substack is called the Escalation Trap, focused on military strategy and the phases of escalation, the decisions governments make, and how societies and militaries respond. What would he have told President Trump if he had his ear before these attacks? The professor had a warning, saying the president risks becoming LBJ by falling into an escalation trap similar to the Vietnam War. Plus, what's ahead in the Middle East and for the U.S. in particular. He told me he's turning down tons of requests, but he agreed to give me 15 minutes before the Times of London called. Here's Professor Robert Pape. Professor, let's start with the news today as we tape this. The U.S. now using gravity bombs, essentially unguided. What does that tell you?
That tells me that we're running out of precision munitions, and the fact that this is now day 5 and we're running out of precision munitions is really quite stunning. There have been reports now for weeks that General Kane has explained this to the president. Now we're seeing the reality of the situation. Now, what does that mean in the biggest picture? We're moving from what I have called the smart bomb trap to a dumb bomb war. Now, this will happen over time. It won't happen all in a single day. You should expect transition from smart to dumb bombing over the next few days. We still will have precision bombs. It will take us some time to refit some of our platforms from dropping precision to dumb. And then there will be hybrids. We will be able to have they're called GPS fanny packs, like a backpack that you can put on some World War II dumb bombs. Now, we do have vast storages of 500,000, 2,000-pound dumb bombs. Most of them developed still from World War II. Expect to see B-52s being used. Those were built in the 1950s. They're 70 years old. They're pretty good for this purpose. And so you are going to see this transition likely over time. That's what they're telling us. But it also means, just to go on, that collateral damage curves are going to shift rather dramatically. In World War II, we were lucky. We claimed we had, quote, precision because we had a northern bomb site. But precision meant 50% of the bombs fell within 1,000 feet of their aim point. Now here, we probably will have improved in numerous ways our dumb bombing capability. But I think the best estimates here are probably going to be several hundred feet, no matter what. That's why we drop them in kill zones, because the kill zone is usually 500 meters by a kilometer. And that is the world of dumb bombing.
That's it. You have, I know, at least advised a number of administrations. If you had had President Trump's ear before he launched this attack, what would you have told him?
I would have told him he risked becoming LBJ. I would have told him quite clearly that this is not, that the smart bomb trap is being mesmerized and focused on the fact that there will be 100% tactical success with the dropping of smart bombs, but that will not lead to strategic success, just as the bombing of Fordo last June did not lead to strategic success. You did obliterate a target, sir, but you did not obliterate a program, and that is why we're back here today. Going forward now means this is going to shift the initiative to the Iranians, and regime change they're already prepared for it. So the initiative will almost immediately shift to the Iranians. And when that happens, there will be a protracted war, and you can decide to quit. You probably won't. You'll probably decide to ride it out, which means you're going to start looking more and more like Lyndon Johnson in February and March 1968, almost exactly that same sustained period of time where then the enemy took the initiative. It was called the Tet Offensive. We won every battle in the Tet Offensive, just like we'll win every battle here. But that's what lost the Vietnam War. And it meant Lyndon Johnson had to not run for re-election, and his party lost dramatically in the 1968 elections. Massive shift to the Republicans. And so this is the real risk, sir. You risk a very high risk of becoming LBJ 2.0.
What do you think the reason is, Professor? Because we've heard 5 or 6, and if it is indeed regime change, you have said and are on the record as saying it's never going to work, at least from the air.
Well, look, President Trump is nothing but direct. And so we have everybody around President Trump come up with lots and lots of reasons here. This happens all the time. It happened with Venezuela. It always happened. President Trump is the best spokesman for President Trump. And there's ambiguity, to be sure. And then, he may be wavering, to be sure. I mean, who wouldn't under this situation? But the fact of the matter is he's been pretty direct. He's worried about the nuclear program. He admitted virtually that he did not obliterate a program. That was in the State of the Union address. And not too many people even picked up on that. I guess it was 2 hours long, so they fell asleep. But the bottom line is he was forthright in the State of the Union saying Iran is accelerating to a nuclear weapon. And it's probably the case. We don't have intel on that. It's probably the case that he just knows that it's the uncertainty band in the intel that's the problem. It's not that we got a new piece of information. It's the opposite. It's that 8 months have gone by. We haven't found a single ounce of the 1,000 pounds of 60% uranium. In the negotiations, the Iranian negotiators told Steve Witkoff, we have the material for 11 bombs. They said that to his face across the table. So this is probably the reality. Now, does he hope he can regime change? Once you've knocked out Fordo, all you got is regime change. There's no alternative here.
But the chances of that happening, you say, are what? Or is it zero without boots on the ground? We've done it with boots on the ground.
It's as close to zero as can humanly be possible. For over 100 years, states have been trying to topple governments with air power alone, and it's not worked a single time. You need to, if you have any chance at all, which is still remote, you need to combine it with air power and ground power, at least a serious ground threat in a major way. And we don't have anything like that right now. And it will take several months, and maybe we will end up having to go down that far. But this is, again, LBJ trajectory. This is exactly what happened in the Vietnam War. And the fact that we're now going back to dumb bombs means we've gone again from the smart bomb trap to a dumb bomb war, a dumb bomb war.
Your phone's about to ring. One more question before we go. What worries you the most about this, Professor? The end game, the fallout?
So I'm going to have a Substack, and I will probably, if I have time, I was going to get out this morning, do a briefing on Sunday here. People are going to have to come in for all the worst cases here. So I think this needs not a single sentence at this point. And then after Sunday, I'll be glad to come in and give single sentence sound bites. But this is much too serious for that here. And so the media all wants to, again, they're in soundbite clickbait mode. I get it. But the bottom line is this is the time for depth. And that is going to happen on my Substack called The Escalation Trap. And I'm just going to keep telling people, and if they don't want the depth, that's absolutely fine. But if they want the actual no kidding analysis, we're going to have to actually have no kidding analysis, not just live in soundbite worlds.
Iran has been preparing for this for, 30, 40 years.
Well, not only fighting us and thinking about this, but more specifically, since the death of Soleimani, they have learned absolutely what the smart bombs can do directly to their leadership. And they've had a mosaic plan, which they have executed to decentralize their leadership. Now, that does come at some costs of integrating their Army, Navy, and Air Force, but they never planned on keeping their Army, Army, Navy, and Air Force, and we've taken that off the table. And notice that's not stopping the Iranians one beat. It's because we're taking things away that don't matter, and they don't matter because Iranians are always weak. They were never going to go toe-to-toe with us for a set-piece battle like Patton would fight in World War II. That's just not happening here in the smart bomb world. So they're fighting with what is strategies of the weak. They understand they're asymmetric. And what does that mean? That means putting us in a long war. We lost the Vietnam War, not because we ever lost a battle. We lost the Vietnam War because the Vietnamese fought the long war, and that we had no answer to. We literally had no answer to. And that's what happened with the Afghan Taliban. So people can bemoan, oh my God, we should still be there and take all these casualties. The problem is we had no strategy to beat the long war by the adversary. We still have no strategy. And that's what is the frustration. That's why you can't hear an articulated strategy out of President Trump. President Biden would be in the same boat. There's no strategy to beat the long war. You have to not let it get to this point in the first place. And that's what I would have told the president directly before the bombing started. Once you're in this, you're in the escalation trap. You are trapped. You're losing control of future decisions. You're not gaining it. You're not maintaining escalation dominance. This is a trap. And that is the threshold we crossed, and why this is so frustrating and nobody can come up with a plan because it's not there.
Well, I hate to fall into your trap, and I'm not looking for clickbait, but I do have some quick questions.
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to imply.
No,
I
get it.
I don't mean to do that, but you can see when you
Trust
watch
me.
the interviews of Pete
I've
Hegseth.
seen it. That's how I found
And I just have to tell you, the audience sees right through that. And I'm glad you're not doing that, Joe, but I'm just telling you, we have to acknowledge that the media is really these gotcha games that they're doing here. This is not helping anybody. I don't even know if it helps their audience. I don't know what it helps, but what it's not helping is it's not helping the public understand the real situation we're in, which is this is not like Venezuela. We could have gone into that and explained that this is not like Greenland. This is a very different situation, and it really is. I'm grateful for this time. I'm sorry I am going to have to go now, but it is. I hope we'll have a chance to talk again, and I appreciate the seriousness, Joe, with which you're taking this.
Professor, thank you so much for the time. We'll be in touch.
Okay, bye now.
My thanks to Professor Pape, and again, for more of his insight, his Substack is called The Escalation Trap. My thanks to Brian Griggs for the quick turnaround. He's our audio engineer. I'm Joe Donlin. I will see you on CBS News Chicago. It's available everywhere on the CBS News app. And as always, I thank you for listening to Chicago Unscripted.